Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be building a chat application using Nextjs and Openai. It's a really simple application. I have a little demo for you. You just chat like you will do it with ChatGPT, and you get a response from ChatGPT. So this one has a custom prompt, so every time you ask something, it's going to respond like in rhymes like this. It's a really simple application. It's also really easy to implement. So that's what we're going to be building today. So first we are going to install Nextjs. I'm in the Nextjs docs. So we just copy the command. In your terminal you paste this npx create Nextjs API latest. It's just here. You copy it and paste it. Then it's going to prompt you with different options. So the project of the name is going to be chatbot. We want to use TypeScript. We also want to use ESLint. We will be using Tailwind. We want to use the source directory. We are going to use the new app router, and we are not going to customize the import alias. Then it's going to install all the dependencies that we need. In the meantime, we are also going to check the chatbot documentation. So this is also what we are going to use along Nextjs. Is a pretty cool library, so we don't have to worry about making it look prettier. We're just going to jump into the introduction, how to install this for Nextjs. Here we have these instructions. So here we're going to cd into the new project, which is chatbot. We're going to clear the terminal, and here we already did this, right? We already created the app. Now we are going to initialize Shadcn. We copying this for npx. It's going to do another process. The style is going to be the default one. We're going to use the default color slate. We want to use CSS variables so we can easily change the colors. Then it's going to install all that we need for us. So that's all the setup that we have for now. We are going to open this on your editor. So I'm going to use Sed. You can use VS Code. They're pretty similar. It's just the editor that we're going to use for this. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's go to the main page. So is this one. I'm going to make it a little bit more bigger. We can open the terminal here or the other session that you have. We are just going to run to see if everything runs correctly. That's how we run this app, npm run dev. You can check that in the scripts, npm run dev. We run this. It's going to start a new server. This is our server. We can check it out to see if everything is there. I'm going to pin this here. So it's working. This is the base application. Then I'm going to create a new env file. So here's where we're going to declare all of our variables. So we only need one, which is the OpenAI API key, right? And here then we're going to get this key. To get this key, we are going to go to the OpenAI website, and we are just going to sign up. So as for today, we can actually get free credits just for signing up. I believe you get $5. Of course, OpenAI is a paid product, so if you want to do something else with it, you have to add a credit card. So to get an API key, we have to start phone verification. I'm going to enter my phone number. So because I already have this phone number with another account, I don't have free credits. But if it's the first time that you're signing up, you're going to have credits that you can use. And here you're going to create your API key. And it's just going to be for the default project. We create a key. So then you paste your API key in your env file, and we should be done with all the setup. Now we can start creating some code. So now that we have that, we are also going to use the AI SDK from Vercel. So this is a really nice library that we can use to create our application. We are going to install the AI SDK, and also we are going to install the SDK for OpenAI from this library, which is add AI SDK /OpenAI. So this is what's going to handle the OpenAI library for us. Then we are going back to our app. We are going to remove some things here. So first we are going to remove all of this from the page, so we can focus on our application. So we have an empty page here. We are going to start defining our layout. So first we just need to add some class names here. So this is going to be a fixed layout, so it's easier for us to manage all of containers. It's going to have a height of full, width of full. It's also going to be flex with a flex call layout, and the background is going to be muted. So yeah, so let me just quickly explain. This is a variable that we have from Shadcn. So this does not come by default from Tailwind. And yeah, and we are just going to have a flex direction of column. So the direction of flex is in column. Then we are going to have a container. So we don't want everything to overflow, and this is going to have a height of full, width of full, and it's also going to be flex, and it's also going to be flex column, and it's also going to have a padding of the y-axis of 8. So we actually don't need this here because we already have it here below, but we do need this to fill our container. So let's start with the messages. So here we're going to have the messages. Let's leave it empty for now, and then we are going to have a form, and it's not going to have an action because it's going to be on the server side, on the client side, and this form is going to have a text area. So Shadcn does not include any components by default. We have to install them manually. So if we look here, we can just look for the text area, and yeah, this is what we are going to use. It's going to be installed like this. We are going to use the Shadcn CLI. We paste this here, and it's going to add that text area for us. So if we look here, we can see the text area component. So Shadcn is not like a library that you import from the package. It's more like a code generation tool. It's going to generate the component for us, and we can just change it on our liking. So we're not going to change it, but we are going to export that text area, and that text area is going to have some properties. We're going to start with the class name, which is going to have a width of full, and it's going to have a text large, some basic additional styling, and the placeholder can be whatever you want, like say something like that. Then we are going to have the handlers. So yeah, this is like, for now, this is a server component. We can see our input, but we're going to change that to be a client component in Next.js. We do that by adding the use client directive at the top of it, and we want to be a client component because we're going to use hooks. We cannot use hooks on a server component. And what are those hooks that we are going to use? It are the one for the SDK from Vercel, and the hook is called use chat. It's a hook where we can retrieve our messages. We can send our messages to our backend that we don't have yet, but we can start using it now. So now we are going to import what we need. So we need the messages, we need the handle submit of the input, and we need the input handler, and we need also the input controller, which is going to be handle input change. Handle input change. So we have an issue here. It's because I use it auto imported the component for solid, so we are going to use the React one. The React one has the handle input change controller, so this is just going to control our input. So we have the value input, right? And then we have the onChange function, and we want the onSubmit for this. So the class for this is going to be it's going to have a margin top class name of auto, and it's going to also have a position relative. For now we don't have the send button, but the send button is going to be absolute here, so that's why we need relative here. And the margin top auto is just going to automatically move this to the bottom, so we have a normal chat input here. This where the messages are going to be has flex 1, so it grows all the way down, and it's going to have overflow auto, so we can scroll here. We can be more specific, overflow y auto, so we know it scrolls in the y-axis, and that's what we need for this. So we have our input, but we need a backend where we can send our messages. So by default, the use chat is going to use a default route. That's the one that we are going to use. So in Nextjs, we can create API routes very easily. We just have to add, we are going to have an API folder. It could be whatever you want, but we're just going to use the default one. Then another folder called chat, and here we need a route handler like this route.ts. And yeah, this is just going to create an API called /API/chat. And here we are going to have different methods. We can have many different methods, but we're just going to use have a post one. So for that, we are going to export a sync function with the name of post that takes a request, which is a type request. So this is a default type for Node.js. We don't have to import it. And here we are going to have our messages. We are going to await the request.json, and here you have the messages. Of course, you can validate this. You can have some validation. For now, we are not going to validate that. And then we can start using the AI SDK. So we are going to have a result, which is going to be await stream text. We are going to import that from AI, our package, and here we need a model. So this is the model that we are going to use for our chat app. We have this function from OpenAI that we need to import OpenAI from AI SDK OpenAI, and here we can just explore what we have here. We have many models from OpenAI, so every model has a different price. We're going to use this one, which is the latest one for 3.5, which is the cheapest and more fast. We don't need nothing else. And here we are going to append the messages. So yeah, the messages are going to be append that we are going to send to this row. Then we can return a new streaming text response from OpenAI, and this is just a helper because streaming needs to have like an open connection, so you can stream the answer instead of showing the final answer. It's going to stream character by character. We grab the result, and it's going to we just transform the result into a stream, and this is going to handle the response for us. So yeah, this is just a post endpoint that's going to stream back the response for us. And as you can see, it's pretty simple. We didn't do any much to make this work. That's why it's really nice, the AI package. Then we can have these messages, and we can just display those in here. So we are going to map. So this generated some code for us. We can take a look at this later. So here in the message we have some content. For the key we can just use a message.id, and yeah, we are going to change this later. It's just some placeholder for now, but just you can see that we can stream the message. So we can test this. We are missing a button for sending this, so we are going to add that button here. So we first need to add a button from Shadcn. We have the code here to add it. npx Shadcn add button. It's going to add the button for us. We can just import the button from our components library, and we are also going to use some icons So I really like Lucid React icons. We are going to import those ones into our project. We can import it here, npm install Lucid React. And the one that we are going to import is called send from Lucid React. So here we are going to add that into our so yeah, the completion generated some code for us. It's going to be absolute, but we're going to change some of this. So we are just going to center this vertically. So for that we can add a top of 1.5. It's just top 50%. Then we can transform that, and it's going to translate this into the y-axis and the half of the y-axis. The size of this button is going to be of icon. There's a side icon. We're going to add some class. We're going to also add a right property of 4, so it's aligned to the right with a 4 spacing. And we are also going to make this round, so for that we can just say rounded full. We have most of this, and then we can add the send button and we can close the button component. So if we take a look, here we have our button. We can also disable this button if there is not input. So if the input is empty, it's going to be disabled, and it's going to be the type submit. So now we can submit our messages. How are you? And let's test this. And yeah, so we can see that we have some response here, which is great. Now we can just add a message component. We are going to add it on the app directory. We're going to add a folder called components, and this is going to render every one of the messages with TSX here. So if we go here to our message component, we're going to export default message, and this is going to take a prop of message, which is what we are going to display. For now, no, we are missing the function keyword. Export default function message. We need to import the message type from AI. So because our component is called message, we can rename this as message type, so we don't have conflicts of variables. We are going to define our input, and here we have our UI for that. So let's just build the UI. We are going to extract some properties of the message, and those properties are the role and the content of the message. So we just want to know if the role equals assistant, we are going to return something different than the other role. So for this, we're going to return a div and let's leave it like this for now. And here we are going to have another div, and here we are going to have an icon. The icon is going to be a bot icon from Lucid React, and we are going to also have this text, like it's just going to be what the header for this, and here we are just going to render the content that this right here is going to render here. So then we can add some style to the first div. So this is going to be a style flex call. We are going to have some spacing with gap 3, with some padding of 6, and white space pre-wrap, so we have proper space in between every paragraph from the response. Here it's going to be of class flex with the items at the center, so it's center in the vertical axis, and also a gap of 2 between these two elements. So we can see how that looks like. We can replace that with our message component. From here we're going to use the key and we send the message. So yeah, here we can see we have the assistant, so we are missing the other for the user message. For this we're going to use a card. Again, we go back here to Shadcn to import a card component. With npm, it's going to add the card for us. We are going to import that card component. Make sure we import that. Here we are going to use the card header, right? And here we are going to have a div with flex, and here we are just going to have an user icon from Lucid React with a size of 36, and here we are just going to have the content. You can take a quick look to see how it looks like. Hi there. It looks like this. We are going to add some additional styling, so we need this in the here. We are going to copy this style because it's the same for both. Well, we want the same property here. Here we are going to center these items at the center, and we are going to add some spacing of between them. So yeah, that's basically the UI for this. So then we can go back to the page, and we are going to add something else here. So because we can type, and if we enter it doesn't submit our message, it's going to be nice to have a handler for that. We're going to add a handle key down, which has an event of React that we React that keyboard event, which is the HTML text area element. This is the event that we need. We are going to pass it on the text area. We are also going to add a ref to our form, so we can submit our form. So it's going to be form ref, which equals use ref, and here we can say this is HTML form element. This is the ref. We are going to assign the ref to our element. Ref equals form ref, and here in our key down we are going to have an if just like this, like if the key is enter and it's not shift key, because you can still shift key for shift enter to add some spacing, then we are going to prevent the default, but we don't have to do this. We can just do a request submit. So this is going to submit the form for us, and we can test this like hello there. We enter, and now we got this how to be better at Python, and we got the response. So this is the default. This is just regular ChatGPT, right? But if you want, you can go to the route where we are having all this, and we can add a system prompt. So the system prompt is just instructions that you can give to the assistant, like to make it custom respond in emojis. You can do something like this, right? So how it's the way how to improve your English, and we have this emoji response. So yeah, that's a really simple application, and that you can start developing and customizing to your liking. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video.